Let's get going. Just for interest's sake, yesterday we did marketing and brand. Who was not here yesterday? Oh, okay, cool. All right, so we'll cover that in a second. So today is a kind of extension to that. It's about a take on brand experience. It gets talked about a lot, and it is one of those kumbaya topics. But what I want to do, because you're a process-driven industry, like we did yesterday, I want to give you some specific processes based on questions that you guys can look at yourselves, regardless of whether you're an operator, whether you're a supplier, whether you do digital, whether you're in the people side of things. For those who weren't here yesterday, I've been doing this for a long time. And what this will be about is my insights and ideas that come from my years of doing it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, on the opportunity for you to create a true customer experience and how that's changed. So today's about stuff that I've basically coalesced around for the last couple of decades. And then number two, it's ideas and insights I've taken from people I interview on my podcast called The Mojo Sessions. And that's about interesting conversations with the world's most interesting people that quite often fit into strategy or leadership or marketing or brand or culture or people or managing today's lifestyle. Because I know my mission is to curate the thinking of the best thinkers and bring it together, make sense of it, then give it to you in a way that you can use it in the lot, off the lot, or at home. So if I talk about some of the people I've interviewed, it's not for kumbaya for myself, it's because you may want to go and follow those people up, or you may want to go and listen to the ideas they've got. And if you're sharing an idea from somebody, it's incumbent upon you to credit who that person is. One of the people interviewed, who's probably one of the most fascinating guys I've come across, is a guy called Bill, @ Willie Driscoll, who fought in the Vietnam War flying F-45 fighter jets. He was shot down in the South China Sea after a combat. He's a Navy ace, which means he's got more than 5 kills. He's on 170 combat missions. And he's talked at every graduating class of Top Gun. What was really interesting is at the age of 75, he's now writing and speaking and working in an insurance company. I had to get online with him and do a half an hour with him just to be worthy of the time to interview him. Because as Peter will say in the military, how you do something is how you do everything. It was really interesting talking to Willie because at that age, he still holds the standard. So what today's about is you're going to hear some of the stuff I talk about, yeah. It may not matter to you. But the thing with customer experience today, and I'll give you loads of examples, is it's a standard. It's a decision, it's a standard, and you're going to play the long game. One of the things Willie said to me was, there's a mantra at Top Gun. The day you stop wanting to be better is the day you stop being good. So what I thought we'd do just to start this off really quickly, I'd like you to think about yesterday, for those that were in the room, to think about the marketing and brand conversation we had. Because if you want to motivate somebody, motivation comes from progress. Progress comes from looking backwards. If you've got a kid, child, team member, yourself, motivation exists when you are moving forward, when you're progressing. Progress comes when you look backwards. Too often at these things, we come in, we do our 45 minutes, next speaker comes in, we get some stuff, blow out the door, go to the stands, come in, next speaker, go to dinner, come back next morning, there's more stuff. We never take the time to reflect, to go, what did I actually take out of this? So what I'd like you to do is just a quick 60-second exercise. I'd like you to think about yesterday. If you weren't in the room, you're going to get a very quick summary in a second. This won't take very long. I'd like you to grab whatever you have to write on. Some people have got paper. If you haven't got paper, there's paper and pens in the back of the room, and I'd suggest you grab some. So just write down really quickly, based on yesterday, what was your takeout? What was the one thing you took from yesterday that you will use in order to get better? Go for it. It's just an individual exercise. Take you 60 seconds. right, good game's a quick game. So, call them out, some of the things. Peter, you can start me off. What did you take out yesterday?
My big one was the takeaway with the quote.
Yep.
And that was in relation to the illiterate of the 21st century won't be those
That can't read and write.
It will be those that can't learn, unlearn, or relearn.
Beautiful. Good quote. Alvin Toffler. Write that down. Good. Okay, what else? A couple more quick ones. Yes, ma'am.
Focus on the process, not the outcome.
Exactly. We'll talk about that today. Excellent. Good. What else?
Why choose you?
Sorry?
Why choose you?
Why choose you? The basis of all of it. Yes? Why you?
Like the whole black rifle thing.
Yep.
Like the brand's not just your shirt, logo on your shirt type thing.
Actually, what you stand for. Absolutely. Very good. Yes, sir.
I was going to say that the same thing about the logo.
Yep. Good. And it's interesting. We're going to talk about that today because quite often brand and marketing, you think it's your slogan. The game's changed. Good. What else? Anything else? Yes, sir.
Point of cause.
The point of cause, not point of difference. Nice.
Who's the target?
Who's the target audience? Who cares? Who cares? What do you do? Why you? They're the fundamentals. Good. And point of cause. Good. Anything else?
The circle, what, why, how?
So the golden circle, which was Simon Sinek. We start with what we do, how we do it, but very few people have. Why we do it. You want to turn that circle around. Start with why. Why do we do what we do? Here's how we do it. Here's what the process entails. Very good. Let's find that all online with Simon Sinek. Very good. Anything else? Would you guys have? Exactly. And that's where we're going to go today. It's a nice segue, actually. Marketing and brands, all about perception. You can be the best, you can have the fastest, you can be the cleanest, but if I don't think it, I'm the target audience, it doesn't matter. The second part then is the experience. That's where we're going to go this morning. This will be pretty interactive, so you can ask questions as we go along. Here's one piece of advice I'd give you. It makes it so much easier to recall what happened yesterday when you've got notes. One of the big flaws we have today, which we are passing on to our children, is you come in here and you expect to remember stuff from yesterday, and you're kidding yourself. After a couple of beers and a glass of wine last night, all the stuff you saw, the busy shit on your phone that's coming through, if you expect to sit there and listen and not write things down and remember it, go and use it, you're kidding yourself. You won't remember it past the next cup of coffee. Harvard and Stanford are saying to their students, don't bring an iPad, don't bring a laptop, bring pen and paper. And as Dr. Jim Lair, whose work was 16 number one, said to me, there's something about cursive writing that helps you remember stuff because you're comprehending. When you're tapping away, you're just recording. To make use of this, because you're giving up the most precious commodity, you're giving up 2 days of your life to be here. When you're in a room and anywhere, always bring something to write on. Ideally, get a nice journal, take it with you everywhere. It'll become the best of the best. Every year, you'll have the best of the best. Number two is, if you've got kids, particularly young children, what are your actions demonstrating? Because when you come in the room with nothing to write on, you're demonstrating your ideas aren't even worth that much recording. It's not that important to me, so you don't have to do it at school either or at college. So that would be my recommendation. And there's plenty of paper and pen at the back of the room. Tiago Forte wrote an excellent book called Building a Second Brain. It was a game changer for me. I'm not going to go into that today. But something he said was really interesting. He said, the brain has got a carrying capacity. You know, when you go shopping with your partner and you get a couple of shopping baskets, if you choose to carry them out, there's only so much can go in. Your brain's like that. I can only imagine how much stuff was thrown at you yesterday. If you don't write this stuff down, then you're saying to yourself, my ideas aren't even worth recording. And my recommendation, I don't care how old you are, get yourself a nice journal and take it with you everywhere. So, let's get into it. The brand experience. Does anybody in here know the store Lush? Do you know Lush? So it's, as somebody said to me in a gig in Melbourne yesterday, the place stinks. You know how you go to the QVB, which I did yesterday, you can smell it from 50 metres, right? I'm in Lush with my wife. This is going back a few months ago. And I'm walking down the corridor of the QVB, and for 50 metres you get this, like you start to smell it. And like a bee to a honey pot, my wife starts veering off into Lush, right? So I follow her in, and she goes looking at soaps and shampoos, and I look for staff. So I walk up this young kid, and he's got a rag out, and he's cleaning up on the inside of a display cabinet, talking to a staff member. And he's talking about the hours and how they do things and what it's like to work here. Obviously, new recruit. Anyway, the new recruit walks away, and this kid kept on cleaning. And I said, hey, man, how long have you worked here? And he said, well, I've been at Lush for 8 years. I was at Penrith for 6. Then I spent some time at Bondi Junction. I've just moved here. And I said, do you like the gig? And he said, quote unquote, I love it with all my heart. I went, really? What do you love about it? He said, it's the ethos and the experience. I went, right. And so you're a lifer. And he said, you know, I think people think we sell soaps and shampoos. I think we change lives. This is a young kid working in there. So every time now I go past the store and I find a staff member and I start talking to them about why you're here. Young girl, been here for 4 years. Where are you from? Canada. Did you move out here with Lush? Yes. I said, so you like it here? She said, quote unquote, I can't imagine myself working anywhere else. Where would I find a company that stands for what it stands for? Go online and look at Lush and look at how much time they talk about the experience they create when we walk into their store and how much experience they create when the staff member serves you. It is a wonderful case study. And it's all laid out. We can all read it. The reason they show so much is, and their competitors can see it all, because they know their competitors won't, do it. It's the fundamentals. What's really interesting, and this was true as of yesterday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right across the corridor from Lush is the Body Shop. Now, when I worked at Triple M back in the day with Doug Mulray, the Body Shop were all the rage. Man, they were like, Anita Roddick, she was a rock star. She was on the speaking circuit. She had books. Everybody had a block of that clear, greeny coloured soap because they were all about standing for no testing on animals. Yesterday afternoon, Lush was pumping. Body Shop, crickets. There was one person in there, one staff member. I kid you not. Because what happened was, these guys were creating an experience. They had a belief. When we walked in there, we walked into the experience the Body Shop created. Then L'Oreal bought it, and L'Oreal were only focused on money. And now they're shutting all their stores. Go online. They're shutting down Body Shop stores.
Just like a bank.
Exactly. Now take from this the choice between you and the car wash up the road in Canberra or the car wash up the road in WA. It's no different. You can choose to be a Lush. Take the process, you said. Take the process, not the outcome. Oh yeah, but there's stinky soaps. No, that's not the point. The process is, how do we do what we do? This is really interesting. And the question I would pose to you is this. What's it like to do business with you? It's such a profound question. And this is something David Avron said to me. Now, David Avron wrote to me and said, hey, I've got a book out. And David Avron was on the Celebrity Apprentice with Donald Trump some years ago in the States. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. It might have changed. Anyway. And he's this big-time speaker in America. And he writes books about topics like customer experience. And he sent me the book. And I hand-signed it from David and stuff. And I went, I'm a marketing guy. I've been doing it for 2 decades. Aren't we sort of, isn't this customer service thing dead? Like, kind of, isn't it? Don't we have all that nailed? But there's a difference between customer service and customer experience. What's it like to do business with you? Get out of your office, get off the lot, get in a car, drive down the road, and act like a beginner, like a beginner's mind, and see what it's like to do business with you. It is such a profound question. I almost didn't interview this guy because I went, I kind of done it. I read the book and went, actually, you know what? This is quite profound because we never start with the customer. We build these car washes, then we work out who to target, what to do, why us. But we never start with the actual customer and say, what's it like? I hate Qantas. Honestly, they're the one brand that I have absolutely no time for whatsoever. Because I have wasted so much time sitting in airports with their delays. They'll tell you that all the customer service systems, they get all the systems, all the service, all the people, all the call centers, but the experience is shit. It's beyond poor. Well, as the Queenslanders would say, it's shittera. It's shit. It is. It is. It's most, yeah. And that's the thing. That's what I want you to think about. You have customer service. Yes, you do the job. How do you make it feel special for somebody going in? So you walk out and go, you know what? That was a really great experience. And once you're aware of this, what's it like to do business with My Washing Hub? As a supplier, as an operator, as a consultant, what's it like to do business with you? It changes the game. Once you're aware of that question, you start looking at it every time you buy a cup of coffee. When you go to the airport, when you get in the back of an Uber, when you go into a clothing store, you go, what's the experience like? How does it feel? What's it like to do business here? So I'm in Orange just recently at this hotel, and it's right next door to Top Wash Orange. Is Top Wash Orange in the room? Anyway, yeah. So there's a place on the corner, this pub. My wife booked us in. So we get there like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, walk up to reception. And instead of just a, yes, can I have a driver's license and a credit card, please, like you get all the time, she actually looked me in the eye and said, where have you come from? What brings you to Orange? How long are you here for? Whereabouts are you? What's it like out there? And started a conversation. It was such a different experience. And she was very prompt in giving us our room, sending us off. And she said, so you got plans for dinner tonight? Well, not yet. She said, well, how can I help you? What would you be looking for? What sort of food are you looking for? And I went, steak. She went, well, there's 3 pubs we can recommend. There's the Parky, there's the, what's it called? The mountain, what's it called? The Canobolis, and one other pub. She said, what do you fancy? And I said, well, which one? This is what we're looking for. She said, well, I'd probably go to the Parky. Let me ring up and book a table for you. This is all while we're there. And it was all, get in the room, and there's this really nice two paper bags full of breakfast stuff. There was a muesli, a piece of toast, jams, there was an orange juice, there was a muesli bar. It's just in the kitchen. We didn't ask for it. But here's the kicker. I'm a glutard, so I don't eat gluten. Haven't done for 20 years, even before it was cool. So I went to reception on the way to dinner to the Parky, which she booked for me, and I said, hey, look, I'm really sorry to be a pain. Do you have any gluten-free toast? She said, I'll take care of it. When I get back, there's a whole pack. Gluten-free muesli, gluten-free bread, the gluten-free muesli bar, the whole thing was replaced, just bang, there it is. And that service continued. It's not hard. It's all about the mindset. So what I want to talk about is, well, how do we go about doing this for our car wash? And I think there's some fundamental things we can go through. And I'd like you to really think about this. What's the experience like of getting my car washed with you? You go, it's good. Good doesn't cut it anymore. There's an opportunity. Because if you're good and the guy down the road is good, then I'm going to fall back to price. And that dog won't hunt. There's the opportunity to say, what's it like to get my car washed with you? And you can break it down into different pieces that go into it. What's the experience like? Grab the person next to you right now and describe what you think the normal experience is like going through a car wash. Just really quickly, it's for 30 seconds. Be honest with yourself. What do you think it's really like, the experience of going through a car wash? Quickly. What do you think it is? Just call them out really quick. Just give me some words you think you describe it. Now. Call them out. Personal service. Call them out. What did you talk about? So what was that? No value? Excellent. Good.
Treating people like you want to be treated.
Exactly. Treating people like the way you want to be treated. We'll come back to that. Excellent. Good. What else? A smiling face. How rare is that? It really is. Do an order today for the rest of the day. Go uptown, buy a cup of coffee, have some lunch, and see how hard it is to find somebody with a smiling face. Oh, it can't be that simple. Actually, it is. And I'll show you why that is in a minute. Good. That's excellent. Thank you, Greg. What else? A couple more. Nothing?
Watch the soap application.
Because part of it, like the guy said yesterday, part of it is I'm assuming the product is up to scratch. Yeah. So you're exactly right.
There's a visual side.
Correct. Absolutely. So here's what I think you can do with this. Like you go, well, that's all good, it's all common sense, but common sense is not common practice. When you look at great customer experience, the top ranking of most searches will be the Ritz-Carlton. Their mantra is, ladies and gentlemen, serving, ladies and gentlemen. The Ritz-Carlton experience has become so notorious, they now have built their own leadership college that teaches this shit to other companies that want to do it. And I guarantee 95% of people who go there, go through the college, graduate, and zero happens. That's the difference. What I think we can do is, yesterday we had a question from the floor and the guy said, you know, why is the typical mission statement, you know, why is that dead? Because we had mission, vision, values, but they were just something to have in our business plan or to present to our mastermind, but we could never remember them 10 minutes after we talked about them. They were wallpaper. The difference today is we have to think about those things and we have to bring them to life because your customers and your staff will hold you account for it. They'll hold you accountable for it. With the customer experience, if we're serious about this, I would change values to what we value. And when you look at the stuff that the Ritz-Carlton do, don't copy what they've done, but steal from the process. I like the idea of saying, what do we value? Now, you will find online the Ritz-Carlton 3 steps of service. A warm and sincere greeting. Use the guest name. It's not rocket science, but how fewer times that happen? I got on the XPT train to come down the other night. I was the only person on the platform in my little country town. I was the only person. Get on board, I walked past a buffet, and the lady buffet said, hey, Gary, do you want to order dinner tonight? Do you know how nice that felt? How warm it felt? It's a great experience, just that simple thing. Anticipation and fulfillment of each guest's needs. Initiative. What might someone need? It's not a value, but it's something they value, and it's something they then hold the standard for from the concierge right through the business. And that's what they're famous for. A fond farewell, give a warm goodbye, use the guest name. You can do that. You can do that. The Ritz-Carlton experience enlivens the senses, instills well-being, and fulfills the unexpressed wishes and needs of our guests. Now, I'm not saying you copy that, but what I'm saying is have your own philosophy. If you want to create a customer experience, don't have a set of values of wanky words like integrity and trust. Write them down. You know, every person with a smile. Everyone delighted with what just write them down as your own mantra. Because you've got to have something to work from. And that's why the Ritz-Carlton have been so successful, because they've got something to work from. So work out what your version will be. And don't have the wanky words normally in values that are okay and get you approved and say you got a great mission, vision, values. Actually, what do you value? Call it your agreements. Call it your principles. Call it how we do stuff. But set a tone. And I'll show you how Lush do it and how well Lush do it. Work out what we value. And I would think about it from how do you want someone to feel when they actually get their car washed with you? The feeling part is the important part. We have all these wanky words, but it's how should someone feel? Because it's not what happens, it's actually how they feel about it. And that's why people get frustrated, because frustration is a feeling that comes from something that is missing at the front end. I think if you start to set down your own version of this, you can start to work out, well, what should it be? Now, if you don't have that yet, that's fine. But let today be that demarcation point where you leave here, take some time, sit outside the blank piece of paper and go, you know what? And don't think from what you think you can do. Think from utopia. Because the more you set the bar for yourself, the harder it is for the car wash down the road to beat you. If you just go for mediocrity, man, that's easy. You're always going to hit your target of hit mediocrity. If you set the bar high with the expectation you have of when someone gets their car washed with you, when someone buys a business from you, does business with you, what's that look like and feel like? If you start from there, man, it makes it really hard for someone else to compete against you in marketing and brand and the customer experience. And I also think that once you start doing that, you will start getting feedback through your socials, and that's a measure for if you do decide to sell the business, that's where your multiples start going up, because you have got this experience, you've got this customer retention, you've got a perception in the marketplace above and beyond just price. You're either L'Oreal or you're the Body Shop. And I'll tell you what, I would find it much harder to be marketing against Lush than I would the Body Shop. So you've got 2 minutes, just grab a piece of paper, write down utopia. What should the experience be? Just dream big. What would utopia be? If somebody comes into your car wash or does business with you as a supplier or does business with a consultant, write down for me. What should it be? Dream big. Have a crack at it. Write down your own agreements. What would it look like? What would it feel like? Go for it. Good game's a quick game. So that can be the start of your thinking. You can finish off the rest of the homework. So I was on a Virgin flight last week. Now, I rarely fly on the window, but for some reason, I chose the window. I don't know why. Maybe I was doing some work and I want a bit of privacy. So I'm on the window. Looking out the window, and I see this guy, and he is the master at the luggage toss. I don't know if you've seen that before, but the platform comes down with the luggage. You plant your feet, you grab bag, and with twisting your hips only, you hoik the bag across to the trolley. And I thought, does he not know that we're all watching? And I think of all the money you guys are spending on luggage, this guy is just hoiking it. I reckon his PB was about 3 meters. And then I waited for it. He grabbed this guy's ping golf clubs and hoisted them. I went, are you kidding me? If that guy's on the window, he is going mental right now, because those are not cheap clubs. So I get to Brisbane and I'm doing my gig, and there was a lady in the audience, she's from Virgin. And she made the point. She said, whatever you have as a mantra, your philosophies, your resources, has to go down the chain of command. Because this guy was happy enough. He thought he was doing a good enough job. And you go online, look at what's their mantra? Bring on wonderful. Old mate with the ping golf clubs would not have been saying, that's wonderful. It's not going to happen. It doesn't get the chain of command. So you can have all these things, but the thing is then you've got to embed that through the organization, through everybody has to know about it. And it's when no one's looking, when you think no one's looking, that's where you hold the standard. I interviewed a guy called Alan Stone Jr., and he went to a Nike training camp where the late great Kobe Bryant was there. And he walked up to Kobe and said, "Hey man, can I come and watch you train tomorrow?" And he said, "Yep, no worries. I'll meet you at 4 o'clock." And he went, "Great." And he went, 4 o'clock, the training starts at 3:30 in the afternoon. What do you mean 4 o'clock in the afternoon? Doesn't the training start at 3:30? He said, no, 4 o'clock in the morning. He went, "Cool, okay. I know what I'll do. I'll get up early. I'll get to the court early. That'll impress Kobe." So the guy gets up at 3 o'clock, gets himself ready, gets a taxi, gets to the court at 3:45. Got a door open, he's paying the taxi driver, he can hear this do, 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 and the squeak of sneakers on the ground. And when he got to the court, Kobe was a lather of sweat because Kobe was doing a warm-up before the warm-up. And the thing that Alan Stone Jr. writes about in his books from the late great Kobe Bryant is Kobe did things in the unseen hours. So if you want to get this down so the baggage handler understands this thing, you've got to do it in the unseen hours when no one's looking. Alan walked up to Kobe and said, "Your warm-up to your warm-up is all the fundamentals, the basics. Why are you doing that? You're the greatest player in the world. Why are you doing all these fundamentals?" And he said, "I am the greatest in the world because I do the fundamentals." Customer experience is not difficult. It's the fundamentals, it's the basics. But Kobe had fallen in love with the basics. And the basics can be as simple as a smile. You're exactly right. It can be as simple as a smile. It's not having a set of values, it's what you value. You're good at systematizing. Is that a word? You're good at putting things into systems. That's what you want to do. You want to have a core belief and a system you can put through the team. The other thing is, not every day is a Doris Day. Everybody's got great customer service when the sun's out. But when the storm moves in, it goes to shit. Why don't you think about is, what's it like to do business with you when it goes pear-shaped? Because that's the true sign of customer experience. And you can actually build more customer loyalty when you actually deal with a shit fight than you do when things are going great. And you hear this time and time and time and time again. When you build that platform, and you know it's interesting? The Ritz-Carlton give every staff member $2,000 discretionary to spend on any customer, any guest, to fill an unfulfilled desire or to fix a complaint. $2,000. They're empowered. They probably don't spend it. We wouldn't want to spend it. But the point of the matter is, it's a way of demonstrating we're serious about this. So how are you going to deal with things when things go pear-shaped? And I'll give you a quick story. So in the studio, I use a set of Bose headphones. They're my headphones. Now, I thought Bose were kind of a legit brand because they had the nice studios you go in and sit in the lounges and the big sound and TVs and sound systems. Like, they're an expensive brand. You walk into business class on the aircraft and Doug's up there in the front row next to Neil and they're wearing Bose. I go, well, they must be legit. And then this happened. Now, I keep them in the studio. I'm not rough with them, like I look after them, and both phone went. So I go into town. Well, I first looked up, where are the Bose studios? There are none. That's really odd. I don't know if you realise that. There's no Bose studios anymore. So where can I go to Bose? Myer. So I walk into Myer. I've got my Bose box. I unzip it. I hadn't even finished unzipping it. Old mate from Myer walks up and goes, "Foam?" Yep. He said, "Can't help you." "Oh, what do I do?" He said, "I don't know. Can't help you." I said, "Where are the studios?" "There are no studios." He said, "I can't help you with it." I said, "What do I do?" He said, "Go online, get onto Amazon, buy some new foams, clip them in, just change them over." "How do I do it?" "Look at YouTube." "See you, brother." Right? So I go, well, I'm pretty pissed. So I go online, I do what every good millennial does, and I tweeted it. "Hey, Bose, this sucks." So I get a message back from them saying, "Got your message, Gary. We can help you here. What you need to do is just send us the receipt and the registration number in your receipt." So I go back, send that through. Great, good. Now, next step is I want you to go and look at the cup. Inside the foam bit there, you'll see a registration number, a number. It is so small, I had to pull the phone back and take a photo of it just to get the number to put into the DM back on Twitter, right? Great, they go, "Great, you're almost there." And On the other cup, you'll find another number. We just need that. So I send that through. And they said, the registration number we've got doesn't match up with this. There's a bit of a problem here. I went, well, I don't know what else to give you. That's that. I've got the receipt, got the cup, that's it. Came back and said, oh, look, we're going to take care of this for you. So we're going to send you a new cup. It's $35. We'll send you a new cup, and you can just clip it in. And I went, you know what? Tell everybody about it. Thank you. So don't worry about it. Minutes later, yeah, look, we can send them to you for free. Just send us your address. And I went, you know what? Forget it. And by the way, Tony, look for a new job because you're going out of business. So my point is, when things go pear-shaped, what's it like to do business with you? Will I ever buy Bose again? Negative. Negative. And this happens time and time again. And yesterday we talked about having a slogan. I don't know if you've been to Avis. Avis had the famous slogan, at Avis, we try harder. This is me on the way to Bendigo. I'm at the Melbourne airport. Do the math. 5 minutes per person checking in. Old mate here is still doing it by hand. So 5 minutes, I'm an hour away from actually even getting my car to drive to a gig, which I timed out. Avis, we try harder. You're not trying hard enough. So you can have all the nice slogans, but if you don't deliver, it ain't going to matter. So customer experience is not that difficult. It's just having a belief, it's having a mantra, it's having a set of philosophies, and then holding the standard in the sunny times and in the storm. I bought this Mosi tea infuser on Kickstarter. Took ages to come, finally got it, I really liked it. And the clip broke. So I wrote to Mosi and said, hey, I don't expect anything from you. I just wanted to let you know this clip broke. I'm a bit disappointed. No worries. What's your address? There's another one on its way. It arrived, no questions, no receipts, no nothing. Within a week from the States, it arrived on my doorstep. I loved it, and I tell the story. What's it like when things go pear-shaped? And it's interesting, you know, you look at the world's most valuable brand is Apple. It's the first $1 trillion organization. When you go into Apple stores, there is a standard, there's a discipline, there's a way of they set their standards for themselves, and it all comes back to the leadership. This is Steve Jobs at a WWDC many, many years ago, when somebody in the audience attacked him for changing some software they were running. Here's his response. Think about this for your car wash. You as an operator, you as a supplier, or as a consultant.
What we found is that you've got to start with the customer experience and work backwards to the technology. You can't start with the technology and try to figure out where you're going to try to sell it. And I've made this mistake probably more than anybody else in this room. And I've got the scar tissue to prove it. And I know that it's the case. And as we have tried to come up with a strategy and a vision for Apple, it started with what incredible benefits can we give to the customer? Where can we take the customer? Not starting with, let's sit down with the engineers and figure out what awesome technology we have, and then how are we going to market that? And I think that's the right path.
Now you can do that. So the second part of your homework is go down and break down the process, break down the journey. So you can break, if you start with the customer, start from there, the customer experience, what the customer feels. You can break it down into chemistry, the experience on the lot, the experience off the lot. You can personalize offers, the guys we're talking about here, personalize offers through the guys at Pulse. When children are in the car, pets are in the car, memberships, the interaction with the customer, the smile, the added value, signage, stories, playing with the senses. What do I see? What do I smell? What do I taste? all those things. You can just break the whole thing down. The interesting thing is, if we start to think about how do we make somebody feel special, you've got all these tools to use. Those that do it, the few that do it, you will stand out, add more value to business, more value to the people who come and do more loyalty, and the people who work in the business will feel much better about it. When you look at Lush, to close this out, and their philosophy, this is on their website. This is what they believe in. They have this whole philosophy about we believe in. Some's for the customer, some's for the staff. And it's kind of fun. You know, we want to make our mums proud. It's kind of fun. We believe in bubble baths and blah, blah, blah. But it's also the mission part about using the right ingredients, how we do it, the benefits to people. And what's interesting on there, it says, does the we believe this change? We have updated our we believe statement once in the last 25 years to add we believe in the freedom of movement in 2017. So this is the steps you could take if it matters enough to you. If it doesn't matter, move on to the next thing. But if it matters, these are the actual steps you can take. And once you've got it in place, and the last thing I'd leave you with is Seth Godin, who's a very famous marketing and brand blogger, great writer. And he talks about being remarkable. But the takeout is, to be remarkable, all you have to do is have something to remark on. When I leave your lot, what am I going to remark about? If it's just like every other wash, it goes through the tunnel, does a nice job, go out the other side, car's relatively clean, all good, there's nothing to remark about. I'm not going to comment on it. There's nothing to remark about. Being remarkable, all it needs to do is, what am I going to remark about? Break it down from the chemistry, on-lot, off-lot, all those things broken down. Just find those little things and just do it consistently, time after time after time. That's how you become remarkable, and you give me something to remark on. But the kicker for this is you've got to be consistent. My favourite coffee shop in Neutral Bay here in Sydney, there was a guy who used to always create a great experience for me. He was a Colombian guy, Alessandro. He'd walk in, hello mate, how you going mate? How's it going? What are you reading mate? Do you need a book? And his coffee, day after day after day after day, was bang on the mark. He knew exactly what I wanted. Then one day I walk in, there's no Colombian accent coming out. And I go, ooh, warning, Will Robinson, warning, warning. There's a new barista. Where's Alessandro? Gone back to Colombia. Ooh, problem. What do I get? This milky, shitty, bloody thing. And suddenly the coffee shop's empty now. So it's consistency. It's not just once. You can come out of here and do one little good thing. It's time and time and time again, which is why Lush have created such a great business. The other thing is you go, I might have 5 car washes. I might have 10 car washes. I might have 2 businesses running. When I interviewed Barry O'Reilly, who wrote Unlearn, the book I referred to yesterday, which is when Greg referred to that Alvin Toffler quote, I said, where do you start when you want an organization to unlearn? He said, just find the first 11%. So if you've got 5 car washes, you might have 50 staff, just start with 2 people. You get 100 staff, just start with 5 people. Find the first 10, 11%. Get them on board, get them to understand it. Think big, but start small. Because quite often we go, how am I going to get this through the whole organization? Just start with the opinion leaders. Just start with the cool kids. Just start with the people who really buy into what you do, the people who've got you back. To start small. I'm going to leave you with one. We've got time for 60 seconds. I just love this commercial. But the last thing I'd say is all the stuff I talked about yesterday and today, play the long game. I love it when I see a consistent message that works done over the passage of time, even as the category changes. BMW have been the ultimate driving machine now for, I reckon, 20, 25 years. I talk to executives like Doug and I say, you got a BMW? Yeah, what do you like? He said, every time I sit in the car in the morning, I feel, oh, this is the ultimate driving machine. That's when you know you got something. This is their new commercial that ran during the Super Bowl.
Nice ride.
It's the real deal. 100% electric.
It's the real deal.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. Enjoy your coffee. Careful, it's hot.
Thanks.
Your dog's so cute.
Yeah.
Ooh, so adorable. Wow.
Right.
We both know it's the man makes the
Come
clothes.
on.
You know, you look nice.
Okay. We done?
Hello, Mr. Walken. Does this table work for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did someone say yes?
Don't you got somewhere to be?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's only one Christopher Walken and only one ultimate driving machine. The rest are just imitations.
Come on.
I love it for two reasons. Number one, they've been doing that forever, and now it's electric, and they brought it back again. When every marketing person comes in, oh, do something different. It's so refreshing to see them stick with it. The second thing that's really good is they're saying, look out for people who are impersonators. When you do this really well, when your competition starts doing it, you'll find people saying, well, the guys down the road at Waves are already doing that. Like that's what Waves did. They're just copying Waves. That's what happens in marketing warfare. It's a separate session. So think through how you do this. And when things start to unravel and you start to lose the experience, just go back to fundamentals. What's it like to do business with you? What are our principles? What's written? What's set in concrete? Just realign. Just go back to, when things start to fall apart, just go back and realign. Would anybody like a copy of the notes from yesterday and today that you can download and, yes? So I will load them up for you this afternoon. So you can go in and put in my website /carwashshow24, password mojo1. I'll put up, look at the cameras. I've never had that before, that's cool. I will put all the notes there from yesterday and today. And also for those who want contact details, that's also the website. You'll find me. So, and that's the podcast. Guys, I'm a great believer in what you do. I think you've got a massive opportunity in front of you. I really do. If you choose to do something with this. Doug, thanks for having me. Neil, thanks for the recommendation. Good to see you again. And I wish you luck, guys. Thank you.
Well, I think that was pretty spectacular. If you didn't pick anything up from Gary's presentations over the last couple of days, I'll be very surprised. The one for me, and Gary will walk in and go, I said all that stuff, and the only thing that you can remember, Doug, is that if you're not better than the guy down the road, it all becomes about price, and it's a race to the bottom. So think about your brand.